All right. So, hello and welcome everyone. So, we are live right now. I hope I'm audible to all of you. Okay. So, welcome back. All right. So, welcome back to this amazing platform, Tutee Learning. So, finally, we have made it. We have finished the entire chapter where we have finished discussion of the basics of 3D geometry, starting from the concepts of direction ratio, direction cosines. Then we started to discuss about straight line in space, and also we discussed about the concept of planes. So in today's lecture, we are going to specifically discuss some of the JEE Mains previous year questions. Okay, so I hope you can see my screen over here. So these are the JEE Mains previous year question that we are going to discuss and solve in today's class. Now please note that since there is a limitation of questions and also I cannot take all the questions that has been asked so far, so I will be taking only the important question. However, if you still have any questions or any problems or doubts in any of the previous year JEE Mains problem, please let me know in the live chat, or maybe also you can comment on your any of the videos. Okay, is this part clear to all of you? Okay, so you can comment on the videos for your questions, and I will try to make a separate video especially regarding the comments only. Okay, so please note that in today's lecture I will first of all show you the problems first of all, and then I will ask you to please solve the problems and let me know whatever solution you are getting. Okay, and then if you are not unable to solve it, we'll shortly discuss that question. Okay, so this is your first problem on the screen, so please give some time to this problem. So please try to solve this problem first of all. So please try to solve this problem. Okay. So if we read through the problem, we will see that this question is asking you to find out the value of. So this question is asking you to find out the value of lambda. The value of lambda. This lambda for which the shortest distance. For which the shortest distance. The shortest distance between these lines, that is, one line is given by this equation and another line is given by this following equation. So it is saying that let the shortest distance between the line be lambda 1 and lambda 2, right? So what is basically meant by this, we'll come to it in a minute, right? So we'll see that it might happen that the line may sometimes have two shortest distance also, right? So you will try to solve this problem and you will see that this is a question where a line may have two shortest distance, right? Then you have to find out the radius of the circle which is passing through the points, and the points of the circles is given. So to find out the solution for the radius of the circle which is passing through the following points. So once you find out the value of lambda 1 and lambda 2, you can definitely or easily solve the problem. Okay. So please try to solve the problem first of all. So whenever we have any problem on shortest distance, what we need to do? So let us first of all understand, if we have two skew lines like this, so let us say this is line 1 and this is line 2. Okay. Now, if we take up any 2 point on line 1 and line 2, let us say this is P and Q. So, and the common normal, let us say this is my common normal. So, the projection of this PQ distance along this common normal will give you the shortest distance, right? So, the shortest distance is given by the projection of this PQ on the common normal. That will give you the shortest distance, right? Now let's try to see how we can find that. So for that, let me denote the vector along line 1 by, let us say this is my L1 vector and let us say this is my L2 vector. So if I find out, so the distance or the common normal will occur along this particular line, and that particular direction will be given as L1 vector cross L2 vector, right? So if I perform this operation to find out my L1 cross L2, so if I perform my L1 vector cross L2 vector, what will I get? So if you just do this operation, I j cap k cap. So I hope you know all this methods to find out the cross product, and this will be 3, 4 and 5 over here, right? So if you compute this particular result, you're going to get minus I cap plus 2 times of j cap minus k cap, right? This will be your result for L cross L1 vector cross L2 vector. So this is the vector which is lying in the common normal direction, right? Now we have to find out the shortest distance. So in order to find the shortest distance, I will take out any 2 points. So over here, my point P can be given as 1, 2, 3, and my point Q can be given as lambda, 4, 5, right? So I will have this P and Q distance, and I can easily form this vector PQ. So this PQ vector can be easily found as lambda minus 1 I cap plus 2 times of j cap plus 2 times of k cap, right? So this is my vector PQ. Now, in order to find out the shortest distance, so therefore the shortest distance will be given as, so the shortest distance is given as, so this will be given as this PQ vector dot with the L1 vector cross L2 vector and divide by the magnitude of it, because we do it for the projection, right? And take a mod of it because the projection has to be positive relation, right? So if I perform this operation, and this length is supposed to be 1 upon root 6, right? This length is supposed to be 1 upon root 6, and that can occur for 2 values of lambda. So this particular length is equals to 1 upon root 6, and this will have 2 roots in lambda, that is lambda 1 and lambda 2. So the roots will be either lambda 1 or lambda 2. So if you solve this problem, so if you try to solve this problem over here, so what you will observe is that lambda minus 1 plus 2 times of 2 into 2, and that will come out as, and there should be a minus over here also, right? And this will come out as plus of 4 and minus of 2 and minus of 2, right? Minus of 2 and divided by the magnitude of that will come out to be root 6, and if we take the mod of it, and is equals to 1 upon root 6. So this root 6 and root 6 will cancel out, and we will have the result for lambda minus 1 minus of 2 is equals to plus or minus 1. So which will give my lambda 1 to be 4 and lambda to be equal to 2. So we'll have two following values of lambda 1 and lambda 2. Now you can consider any one of these following, because the question is made in the final result of the question is made symmetrical, because you said that you have to find out the circle which is passing this point 0, 0. So let us say this is 0, 0. Let us say this is lambda 1, lambda 2, and similarly it will be symmetric. So lambda 2, lambda 1. Like this it is being asked over here, right? So it doesn't matter whichever you consider lambda 1 and lambda 2, right? So now if you formulate the equation of circle passing through 3 points, it is very simple. And if you recall the results, if you recall one of the very key result from the coordinate geometry, so the radius of circle, that particular circle which is having 3 points. So if I know the 3 points on the circle A, B and my C point, then the radius of the circle passing through these 3 points is given by this formula, which is given as ABC divided by 4 times of delta, right? It is taken from this result of the in-center, right? So if you recall the result of in-center, you can easily form it, right? So these 3 points will form a triangle. So what I'm trying to, the circumcenter, or anyways, I am writing with a small r. Okay, so if you have 3 points on the circle, and these points are made as a triangle, and if I form the circumcircle, this is the same thing. So I am using this particular result where A, B and C are the length of the corresponding sides. Okay, so where A, B and C are the length of the corresponding side. So if I put in this particular equation, I can easily find out the radius of the circle passing through these 3 points. So some students might solve this problem by solving for the general equation of the circle with the 3 points. However, an interesting way to also find out the same result is to easily formulate a triangle lying inside this circle, or a circumcircle concept. Okay, So I hope this is clear to all of you, and with this you will find out that the final radius should come out something as 5 root 2 by 3. That is option number B, which is going to be the correct answer. I hope this is clear to all of you. I hope this is clear to all of you. Is this part clear? Is this part clear to all of you? Is this part clear? If you have any issues, any queries, please let me know in the live chat so that I can help you out. Okay, please let me know if you are having any issues. I hope this question is clear to all of you. So most probably we will be able to answer any such types of question in the future examination, right? So anytime if you have this kinds of problem coming up, you will be able to answer it, right? Is this part clear? Okay, so I assume this part is clear to all of you. So let's now move on to solve the next problem. So the next problem we have with us is another important question from the previous year JEE Mains. Okay, this is the problem. I hope you can all see the problem. So please try to solve this problem first of all. Again, very fundamental problem. So it is very important to solve this kinds of problem, especially to gain confidence for the examination. Okay, so please try to solve this problem. And what you will observe is that whatever question I am taking up, so if you have studied the concepts of or the concept in the chapter, you will be able to solve most of the problems very easily. Okay, so please follow the lecture material properly. Please study the video lectures properly. Try to make notes and also try to solve some problems or example problem relating to that. And then if you try to solve this JEE Mains previous year question, I think you will be able to solve most of these problems. Okay, so there won't be any more issues. All right. Is this part clear to all of you? Is this part clear? Please do let me know in the live chat if you have any issues, any queries. Okay, so let's read through the problem first of all, and let's try to see how we can proceed for the solution. So it is saying that the equation of the line passing to this following point and perpendicular to this particular line and this particular line is given by this particular equation. So you have to find out this following value of the unknowns A, B, C and D. So let us try to understand how we can solve this problem. So it is saying that if the equation of the line which is passing the point, so the line, a fixed point on the line is given as 0 comma minus half comma 0, and the direction vector along this line is given perpendicular to this following two line vectors. And now I have discussed this very nicely in my classes that the general equation of line is given something like this, where this b vector is that particular vector which is directed in the direction of the line. So this b vector will, or this particular vector which is multiplied with lambda, will give me the direction of the vector along that particular line. So in order to find out this direction vector of this unknown line, I can easily do the cross product result, right? So this L vector will be simply given out as B1 vector cross B2 vector. So where my B1 vector is the vector along the line 1 and this is my B2 vector which is another line, this over here, right? So these are perpendicular, so I will use the concept of the cross product. So if I do that, I will easily obtain my relation for B1, the relation for the unknowns, right? And already it is given that this particular equation of the line is given as x minus 1 by minus of 2 is equal to y plus 4 by d is equals to z minus c by minus of 4. So where minus 2 d and minus of 4 are the direction ratio of this L vector, right? So I already know the L vector in terms of a unknown constant d. So I have to relate these two by following the cross product result, right? And also the known point, I can easily find the value of c by just putting this particular point on the line. So if I do that, So if I do for that, I can solve out my result. So let me do that. And for the C value, so x is 0, so it is minus 1 upon minus 2, which is equals to 0 minus of C divided by minus of 4. So if I solve this result, I'll get my value of the C, which will come out to be, so this is very simple, which will come out to be 2. So the first value of my C is equals to 2. So the value of C will come out to be 2. Is this part clear? So once I obtain the value for C, now the next thing that I will try to find out is that let me first of all perform this cross product, and from there I can relate the rest of the results, right? And also I can find a D value from this particular expression only. So which I can do is this particular thing will be also equal to, because this from this relation it is also equals to minus half plus 4 divided by D. So this will give me the result for D as well. So D I will find it to be equals to 7. So D will come out to be 7. So I got the value of C, I got the value of D. So the only unknowns are left is A and B. So that can be done by doing the cross product, right? So let me do the cross product over here. So if I try to find out my B1 vector cross B2 vector, which will be the direction along the L vector, and that will give me the result. So I cap, J cap, and K cap. So the results are as follows. So this my vector along B1 is given as 1 alpha and B, oh sorry, 1A and B, and this is given as minus of B, A and 5. So if I do the cross product and compare, where L vector, the direction ratio of this L vector is given as minus 2 comma 7 comma minus of 4. So I know this particular result. I just have to relate by performing this cross product. So if I do the cross product and I try to relate, I will ultimately obtain the values of A and B. So if you try to solve this algebra out, okay, so please try to solve this algebra by yourself, and you will find the value of A to be coming out as 2 and the value of B to be coming out as 3. Okay, so the value of A and the B will come out to be 2 and 3. So following this, I have obtained all the values of the 4 unknowns, that is A, B, C and D. So then I can easily find out this particular result of A plus B plus C plus D, which is coming out to be 14. So with this, option number B is again going to be the correct answer. I hope this is clear to all of you. I hope this result is clear. Is this part clear to all of you? Please let me know in the live chat. Is this part clear? Okay, so we have discussed this problem as well. If you still have any queries, any issues, please don't hesitate. Just put that up in the live chat. Okay. So I will try my best to answer your queries. All right. So I hope you are able to get to this answer. That is option number B, and that is 14. So let's try to proceed for the next solution, next question. Okay. So this is my next problem. Okay. So please try to first of all analyze the problem carefully and try to solve this problem. Okay. And let me know whatever answer you're getting in the live chat. So please try to solve this problem. Again, another very simple problem where the concept of lines is basically being explored. So we can see that this question is giving you the two equations of the line, and they is asking you that the feet of perpendiculars. Okay, so they have drawn two perpendiculars from one point to two lines, and they are given as R and Q. And then you have to find out the area of this triangle. Very standard, straightforward problem. Okay, so the only thing that you need to know in order to solve this problem is that you have to know how to find out the area of the triangle in three-dimensional geometry, right? And we have discussed this part in the basics of 3D geometry. So please use those particular results to find out this particular answer. So please try to solve this problem. 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 Alright, so let's try to see. I presume that you have tried to solve this problem. So let us see that how we shall proceed. So again, we have the two equations on the lines which are given as follows like this, and the theta perpendiculars from this particular point on line L1 and L2 be Q and R respectively. So let's try to visualize this problem. So you have two lines L1 and L2 like this, and there is a point P. So from there you are dropping a foot of perpendicular which is Q, this L1, and this point which is R, which is my line L2, and then I am forming this triangle, right? So then this triangle is formulated, and then this triangle is formulated where to find out this area of this triangle. So this area of this triangle, the area of this triangle is given out to be, the area of the triangle PQR is given out to be capital A. PQR is given out to be capital A. Okay, so we have to find out this capital A first of all. In order to solve that problem, again, use the concept of foot of perpendicular. So I'm showing it for the point Q. I hope you can repeat the same thing to find out the coordinate of R. So let us try to uh, recollect on how to solve the foot of perpendicular. So my point P is given as 5, 1, 3, and my line L1, which is given as x minus 1 upon 1 is equals to y minus 2 upon 1 is equals to z minus 0 by 2, right? This is what the equation of line 1 is given. So in order to find the foot of perpendicular, this Q point which is perpendicular, so let us assume any point on the line Q, and that will be given as lambda plus 1. So I'm assuming this to be some lambda. So lambda plus 1 comma lambda plus 2 comma 2 lambda, right? This is my point Q, and then I can easily formulate my vector PQ, which is given as lambda minus 4 I cap plus lambda plus 1 j cap plus 2 lambda minus 3 k cap. Now this particular vector PQ will be perpendicular to this L1 vector. So therefore, I can obtain that by the relation that is PQ vector is perpendicular to this L1 vector. PQ vector is perpendicular to this L1 vector. And if I solve for this relation, I will be able to obtain the unknown lambda. So if you do that, you will probably find out the value of lambda to be coming out as 0. Okay, probably the easiest way, right? So what we will observe is that I think I have a bit of an error. Okay, this value, yeah, this value was not z by 2. It should be z by 1, right? Z by 1. Okay, just a small mistake. I know it's not a small mistake for all of you because it will definitely ruin your chances of scoring the highest marks. So, however, it's very important to recollect on these kinds of errors. Okay, so if you are having these kinds of error, please note them down in your rough notebook. Okay, so that you don't make these errors in the examination hall. All right. So, okay, so if I just change this particular point, Q will become lambda over here, and this I will have lambda minus 3. All right, so then I will solve for this. Okay, so let me then again check it whether what value of lambda I'm getting. So if I check it again, so I will get lambda minus 4. So this is a dot product, so which is very simple, and the L1 direction ratios are 1, 1, and 1, right? So I'm just multiply with 1 to all the components and add it up to equal to 0, right? So which will eventually get out as 3 lambda, and we'll get this to be 6, right? So we'll get the value of lambda to be coming out as, can you check? Yeah. So I hope I'm doing correct. Okay. So let me check again. So it should be lambda. Okay. So one more mistake. Okay. 5 comma 1 comma minus 3. So it should be lambda plus 3. Okay. See, I'm doing this so much mistakes, but that means that it is a really a point where people do tend to make mistakes. Okay. So please be very careful whenever you're doing these calculations. Okay. So this is lambda plus 3, and eventually we'll get lambda is equal to 0. So therefore, you'll get the value of the coordinate of point Q as 1 comma 2 comma 0. 1 comma 2 comma 0. And in the similar manner, if you try to find out the point R, which it will be found out by assuming another on this line L2, it will be found out by assuming another point or mu in terms of L2 or any point, and then again solving the same equation. So if you do that, you'll get the coordinate of r, to be coming out as 2, 0, 1. 2, 0, 1. Now in order to find out the area of this particular triangle PQR, so this area of this triangle PQR can be easily obtained by, let us say, we take these two vectors, and this area which is given as, so this particular area which is given by this capital A, and that can be easily found out by half times the mod of PQ vector cross PR vector, right? And then take another mod of it, because the area cannot be negative, right? So if you do this result, you will ultimately get to the final answer. Okay, so you can see that all of the questions, whatever you're solving, you have to perform the cross product. Okay, so the result is going to be equal to 147. So the result is going to be equal to 147. Okay, is this part clear to all of you? So therefore, the final answer of this problem is going to be again option number B. I don't know it's a coincidence or not, but all the options are coming out as B, right? So the option of B is again going to be the correct answer. I hope this is clear. Is this part clear? Is this part clear? Is this part clear to all of you? Yes, no, anything? I hope you are able to understand the solutions discussed over here. Even if you are having any issues, please do let me know, okay? Alright, so let's quickly jump into the next problem. So another problem, as you can see, is over here, right? So please try to solve this problem now. Again, a very straightforward problem. So again, it is saying that let the line pass through this particular point and also intersect these two lines. So it is a line of the question of the equation of line passing through 2 points, right? So if I try to formulate this problem, so it is a line which is passing through one point is known to us, that is 1, 1, 1, and another point is, let us say, P, which is the intersection of these two lines. Okay, which lines are given by this following result. Okay, so this is one of the line and this is another line, and this is another point lying on the line L. So let me call this line L. So it's a very straightforward problem. Again, you have to first of all find out this point P in terms of lambda. So let us assume this to be lambda and this has to be mu. So please find out the any general point on this. Let us say this is my line 1 and let us say this is my line 2. So please try to find out the general point on line 1 and line 2 in terms of lambda and mu, and then you try to solve for this point P. And from the convergence result, you will find out this point P. Now, once you find out this point P, then this equation of the line is very simple. It will be simply x minus 1 upon that direction ratio of this vector. Let us call this point as some A. So this AP vector direction ratios will be A, B, and C, something like this. So it should be x minus A is equals to y minus 1 by B is equal to z minus 1 by C. So from this, if you solve it out, so if you try to solve this problem, I know it's a bit like a calculation problem. However, the questions of 3D geometry is more of like calculations only. Okay, so you don't have to worry a lot. However, if you are good with the calculations and if you have studied the basic concepts properly, you will be able to solve all the questions. And trust me, if you're able to solve these kinds of problems, you will be able to score a decent amount of marks in an exam just by relying on the special chapter vectors and 3D geometry and your matrix and determinant chapter. Okay, because those chapters is really important and there are a lot of questions has been asked in the previous year paper. Okay, so if you keep a note of that, you will be able to solve most of the problems. So if you solve this part out, I hope you can able to solve this problem because it is very straightforward. Now you will see that the answer for this problem will come out to be option number A. So the 7, 15, 13 is another point which is lying on this line L. Okay, so this will come out to be 7, 15, 13. Is this part clear to all of you? Is this question clear? Is this question clear to all of you? Is this problem clear? Okay, so let's now jump on to another problem. Now this problem is also very similar. You have to again find out the shortest distance. So what you can observe so far is that whatever question are basically being asked in the JEE Mains regarding the straight lines or planes are more or less repeated, and definitely you can see that there are few important concepts that are mostly repeated, like shortest distance, like the concept of equation of plane passing through two lines, or concept of the equation of planes, or foot of perpendicular, or image, or equation of plane find to the line of intersection. So those are the general concepts that are mostly asked in the examination. So if you are good with those particular concepts, so for if you have gone through my lectures, so you will be able to solve most of the problems. So please try to go through my lectures and try to make a good note of that. Okay, so if you study my lecture notes properly and you try to solve some example problem from after you're done with the lecture note, I think you will be able to solve most of the problem for JEE Mains. Okay, so please try to solve this problem as a homework problem. Okay, so please solve this problem as a homework problem and let me know the answer in the comment section. Similarly, this problem is again where you have to find out the area of the triangle in the three-dimensional geometry. So this is another problem which you have to find it out. So this is another homework problem. Okay, so please try to solve these two problems and let me know the answer in the comment sections. Okay, so homework number 1 is this and homework number 2 is that, right? So I hope you can take a picture or snapshot of this and you can solve this at your own comfort time. So, and please let me know in the live chat. So we have discussed the similar types of problems in the formulation. So I hope you will be able to solve these problems. Okay. So in the next lecture, we are definitely going to start with our new chapter. However, there is one more session to be taken on the JEE Mains previous year problems on the concept of planes, right? So far what we have discussed are the questions that are basically on the straight lines in 3D geometry, right? So we have to take up some problems where we'll discuss about the problems of equation of planes, or the plane formulations, or the properties of planes, or the point and the plane distance. So those questions we'll discuss in the next class. So till then, I hope this particular class was effective and clear to all of you. So with this particular part, we conclude the session over here, and I thank you for all of your lovely attentions, and I hope to see you soon in our next class.